Hi, it's Beth Norman-Roberts, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Ontario. If you live in Canada, I would be happy to be your demonstrator. Links to the products I used in my video are listed below for your convenience. Today we have an oldie but a goodie, Joseph's technique. So stay tuned for some tips and tricks, and let's get started. The cardstock we're using today is white 3 5/8 by 4 7/8, white 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, early espresso at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and our card at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Folded in half will be our card. The colors that we're using today are Mango Melody, Daffodil Delight, and Flirty Flamingo. And for the ease of me not mixing up my brushes, I like to take my label maker and put the short form on so that I'm following along with the correct ink pads. Now I like to start with my dark. So that would be, I guess, the Flirty Flamingo. And we're going to just do some rubbings, and we'll end up with something like this. We like to do a lot of colors in small circles because the page isn't that big and our stamps are small. So we like to have, or I like to have, a lot of color in one stamp when we are finished with doing this Joseph's coat technique. And I'll do some Daffodil Delight. And don't be afraid to go right up and over onto another color. That way you don't leave any blank white spots. This is a technique I really love. It's an older technique, and I thought I would bring it back because I know a lot of my viewers are interested in seeing some of these older techniques that are new to them. And it's also nice to see this being done with updated stamps. Now, for the sake of the video, I'm going to use the other sheet that I did because it's completely dried. I did some drying of it with the heat gun, and I air dried it so we can go ahead and use it to emboss and not worry about embossing powder stuck onto the cardstock. So it's really important that you have a completely dried product to put your Versamark on. Using the Cheerful Daisy set, I'm choosing to go with solid images. It works much better than areas that are open for you to color because we're going to be putting on a dark coat over top, and this resists the dark color. So taking my Versamark, I'm going to stamp on my image. I like to start with this half stamp first. I snuck in one of the other ones before I stamped with this. Now, it's just a preference of mine. That's why I like to start with this stamp. And it just makes for a different looking flower so that all the flowers are not the same on this image or the card front. Now, if you're not sure where you stamped, you can just look around. See here, I'm stamping so that there's a little bit of the yellow and mango and the flirty flamingo in there. Same here. Next, I'm going to take my clear embossing powder and I'm going to just cover this up, and it will show where the flowers are, and I'll heat emboss it, and then we'll just add some more flowers. Now, it's a good idea to use the embossing buddy before you do the embossing, so that, oh, there's an example. It left some marks on there. So I am going to take a brush and just brush that off. Now that I can see, don't know if you can see that, but you can see some of the flowers on there, then I have a clearer picture of where I want to put my other ones. My camera is a little closer to my workspace than I normally have it, and it's a little difficult for me to figure out where I need to have some of my products and stamping sitting. Okay, looks like we can go ahead and clean off the areas that I don't want embossed with clear embossing powder. So I'll finish this up and then come back with a finished card front for you. Using Early Espresso, I'm now going to go over my entire image with the ink and a sponge roller. You can use a regular brayer if you have one. Anything will work. This is where the magic begins. Doesn't that look beautiful? Dark background and the daisies just pop. I used to have black-eyed Susans in my gardens when I lived out in Nova Scotia, and I just love them. Big pop of color. And it's this time of year when the black-eyed Susans come out. Now you see I did overlap 2 flowers there, but that's okay. Then I'm going to take some paper towel and I'm going to wipe off the ink that gets resisted. On these beautiful flowers. They are just glorious. Now I'm going to finish a couple more, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. So we're going to take a paper towel and we're going to rub off the ink and we're seeing some beautiful color here. These daisies are just perfect for this technique. I just love the Joseph's coat. This will be fine for birthday. I have several birthday cards I need to make for coworkers. They are always surprised. I have about 20 coworkers and each of them gets a birthday card from me every year. There. Isn't that pretty? Using my Cheerful Daisies dies, I used this label and I used it with my brown paper, and I wanted to use some gold embossing powder on it just to add a bit of wow to the flowers. I did think of using white, but white would be too stark against such a dark background here. So, using my embossing buddy, I just tap on that to prevent embossing powder to stick. I love my grid paper. You can line it up and make it really straight, and that's how I line up my words too. Just a little tip for you: when you have your clear stamps, put it along the top of the stamp to make sure it is straight, and then bring your block right down on it. It's a little tricky holding on to things because I have my fan on. It's pretty hot outside, and it's blowing away my paper and blowing away my embossing powder. So now I'm going to heat emboss. Isn't the gold so pretty? Now it's time to glue. This card is just so pretty. I wonder what designs and what stamps you're going to use. Give me a shout what stamp set from the catalog you want to try this technique with. It'll be very interesting to see your ideas. And let's finish this off by putting a little bow on. Right under there. I'm going to glue this first though to the card front. I really love adding layers to my cards. It makes them look so rich and like you spent a lot of time on your card. Just want a little dab. And so, my friends, there we have it. I hope you enjoyed this video and will give this technique a try. Thanks for watching.